Jake. The other brother?
Yeah, because
He didn't do $1 million. His brother did $1 million. Him and Floyd did $1 million. So
Mixed martial arts has been around since the early 1990s, 1993 to be specific, in Denver, Colorado, but its origin actually stems from Asia. It was founded in Japan by Satoru Tiger Mask Sayama way back in 1983 as a form of an effective combat system derived from shoot wrestling. The sport only became popular upon the establishment of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or simply UFC, where it gained the media attention it deserved as well as opening doors to interested athletes to partake in. According to Sportskeeda.com, there are approximately 724 active fighters under the UFC, which comprises 607 men and 117 women as of 2020, who come from 71 countries across the globe. As much as it had its share of entertainment, there are other things the establishment has fought hard to suppress, but to no success. Like any other multi-billion-dollar company, UFC also has skeletons in its closet. What's up, everybody? Have you been vaccinated yet? If you haven't, please go get vaccinated if you can. Welcome back to our channel, wherein once again we'll be talking about 5 of the worst-kept secrets in the UFC history. So if you want to know what these are, stay tuned to know more. But before we proceed with today's video, kindly do us a solid and click that like button and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so you won't miss any of our new releases. Vitor Belforts TRT usage. Starting today's list, we'll be discussing Belforts TRT issue. If you've been a fan of MMA and UFC in general, then you may have heard of this from a while back. Whether or not you've heard of the controversy surrounding this champion, we're pretty sure you know him since his reputation precedes him. Vitor the Phenom Belfort is a Brazilian mixed martial artist and is the UFC 12 heavyweight tournament champion, as well as the former UFC light heavyweight champion and the Cage Rage World Light Heavyweight champion. Known for his explosive knockout power, he currently competes in the heavyweight and middleweight divisions of UFC. Before that, he also took part in the heavyweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight divisions. Aside from the UFC, he's also competed for MMA promotions Pride FC, Strikeforce, Affliction, and Cage Rage. Belfort's career has been one of the longest running in UFC, considering that he's been fighting inside the cage since 1997. Long as it may be, the world became witness to a lot of his best and worst performances. We've said before how powerful his KOs are, and to some, it's the combination of innate talent and training, whereas others credit it to his use of performance-enhancing drugs. In 2006, Belfort was suspended for 9 months after he tested positive for an illegal substance, 4-hydroxytestosterone. Upon his return, many believe that the UFC champion relied on the help of testosterone replacement therapy to try and enhance his performance. The public was well aware of his actions, yet UFC turned a blind eye to what Belfort was doing. Not only was it controversial, but the UFC even embraced it and denied those claims to this day. Brock Lesnar's use of steroids. Next on the list, we have another MMA fighter who's also involved in the use of illegal drugs as a performance enhancer. We're talking about none other than the American-Canadian pro wrestler and retired MMA fighter Brock Lesnar. Although he's no longer active in the cage, Lesnar left his mark in UFC history. Known for being an intimidating fighter and a powerhouse athlete, he started in WWE before venturing into mixed martial arts in April 2006, where he fought against Min Soo Kim. He managed to win the match in the first round using strikes, which also became his first official MMA match. In October of the same year, he joined the UFC. Due to his ferocious fighting style and towering stature, he was called the Beast Incarnate, or simply the Beast, and it wasn't long before he was knocking on the heavyweight division's championship. When he fought against Mark Hunt in the octagon for UFC 200, the crowds as well as the viewers were shocked at his inhumane power and speed. He managed to overpower Hunt, claiming victory over this match. Unfortunately for Lesnar, he tested positive for clomiphene, and the win was overturned. By then, fans were already talking about how the UFC was aware of Lesnar's drug usage, but like Belfort's case, they too turned a blind eye. UFC 165, John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. Moving on with today's list is another controversial event, and this time it involves 2 fighters. The bout for the light heavyweight championship belt between John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson at UFC 165 has been one of the worst controversies UFC tried to cover up. At the time, Jones was the reigning champion, with Gustafsson serving as a challenger back in 2013. Jones was ranked as the number 1 in UFC men's pound-for-pound rankings as of March 23, 2021, and he's also a former 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion. On the other hand, Alexander Gustafsson is a Swedish professional MMA fighter who now competes in the heavyweight division for the UFC, but before that, he spent time fighting in the light heavyweight division of the UFC. UFC 165's main event at the time was the championship match between these two, and like all close fights, the decision in UFC 165's title title bout between Jon Jones and challenger Alexander Gustafsson created a buzz among fans and viewers on the internet. Their fight lasted for 5 rounds, but in the end, Jones retained his championship title, which he won by decision. Contrary to what the decision said, many believe that Gustafsson deserved the crown that night. Fight metric stats suggested that Gustafsson was leading 191 to 120 when it came to significant strikes landed in the fight. Surprising to many, the real score read 137-114 in Jones's favor, which led to many fans, especially Swedish fans, upset over their champ losing the match. This was one of many instances where the UFC made questionable decisions on who won the match. Fighters' pay, unfair and biased treatment towards other fighters. Continuing with today's episode is yet another sensitive and highly controversial topic that has been going on for years and has been experienced by one too many fighters: their career earnings. We've seen the likes of Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey cash in a lot of checks, not only because of their skills, but also because of their name and publicity. Take it from one of the latest, though frowned upon internet icons, Jake Paul. We know Paul as the American YouTuber who often got into hot waters because of his questionable thoughts and actions. Although he's got a lot of haters, it did land him so much publicity that he even managed to land an acting role as Dirk Mann on Disney Channel's Bizaardvark for 2 seasons. Now, Paul has made his debut as a boxer, where he fought and won against former MMA fighter Ben Askren. Paul has called out UFC President Dana White on multiple occasions, and now he called him out once again regarding the fighter's earnings. The YouTuber turned boxer put the MMA promotion and President Dana White on blast while promoting his upcoming bout against former UFC champion Tyron Woodley. I think there's a movement moving toward that is going to show the fighters should be getting paid more, Paul told reporters, according to MMA Junkie. It's unfair. The UFC fighters don't have a fair pay. Out of all the sports, the percentages that the owners get versus the athletes, they're the lowest. Past reposts have shown the UFC pays its athletes no more than 20% of generated revenue, far less than any other major North American sports leagues. They're the ones getting in the ring, risking their life, Paul said. Chris Weidman goes in, snaps his leg in half. What's that look like? He may never be able to fight again and provide food for his family. He continues, these fighters are risking their lives. You can quite literally die in the ring, and they need to be compensated more. I'm a big proponent of that movement and being in control. That and Dana White. But props to Paul for saying what a lot of people have been meaning to say. He further added, you're starting to see this as a show business. A lot of people like to focus just on the sport aspect of it, but it's all the way around. Kuchar versus UFC, a sour ending. Last but not least, we have the rivalry between retired MMA fighter Randy Kuchar and Dana White. Considered as one of the best MMA fighters in history, he was a 3-time UFC heavyweight champion, 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion, and interim UFC light heavyweight champion. Unfortunately for Kuchar, UFC president Dana White is not a fan of his, which led to an ongoing feud that hasn't been resolved as of the moment. Kuchar was already earning handsomely from his matches, but he believed that he should earn more and made the decision to bring his problem to court. Of course, Kuchar didn't get the ending he wanted, and as a way of getting back at him, Dana booked him to defend his championship against Brock Lesnar, who at that point only had a 1-1 record in the promotion. Of course, Kuchar lost terribly, and to rub salt into the wound, he wasn't even allowed to be in the corner for his son Ryan's UFC debut a few years later. And with that, we are wrapping up today's episode about the 5 worst-kept secrets in UFC history. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video as much as we enjoyed making it. Check out our channel if you liked this video, since we've got more content to cater to your needs, from tutorials to celebrity news to curious trivia. Thanks for watching today's video, and before you go, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so you won't miss any of our newest uploads. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.